It's doing very well domestically in terms of its hold, and it's, Monday and Tuesday were very good, very solid, good word of mouth here domestically. Internationally, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Despite the best efforts of some to take a glitch on a box office website and report it as fact, not exactly the case. I saw this all over yesterday from DCU Hype. Superman worldwide box office total is actually 312 million in just 4 days. 155 domestic, 157 international. And it's like, whoa, that's kind of crazy because that would have meant that the international numbers jumped up like $70 million in a 24-hour period. That's wild. How could that be the case? Same reported here. Superman crossed 310 globally. Budget was 225 million. The problem is it was all based off of probably improper data entry on the numbers, which got fixed within about 12 hours or so. But a lie goes halfway around the world before the truth comes out. And that's exactly what we saw yesterday. Now places like Screen Rant, who reported the same thing, had to delete their tweet and say, oh, it's actually at 270, guys. Are bad. Forget that we posted this fake shit. And they have fixed it over on the numbers. I wanted to explain this a little bit because there are some people who only happen to look at these things not very often, only when a movie they're very invested in tracking. The international box office numbers, although it gets reported by countries, when it comes to these things like Box Office Mojo or the numbers or whatever, typically we're not going to get an update to the international box office numbers in totality until the next weekend gets reported. Then they'll all come flooding in and, we'll see what we see. But you add some wild shit like China all of a sudden reporting $40 million, but it's only actually made $7 million there. All this stuff that contributed to this. But the reason it became such a big story and people took what was just a glitch and ran with it are because the international numbers are going to be a massive story when it comes to Superman.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to have a really solid second weekend domestically, maybe like a 55% drop somewhere around there, which would be really, really solid. But those international numbers are kind of the question mark. And it's something I brought up during opening weekend. It's something a lot of people are now recognizing and running with. Superman box office, DC's reboot is off to a stellar start with one lingering concern. And it is those international numbers. Superman's lower than expected international box office haul could be a big problem in the long run. And you have had Warner Brothers and DC be like, we knew it was always going to suck internationally. Superman's an American brand. We knew it would always do better. Despite the fact that only one Superman movie of note finished with about the same domestic and international, and that was Superman Returns. Man of Steel made more internationally. Batman v Superman made more internationally. Even Superman from 1978, Jay, made more internationally than it did domestically.
Yeah, that's a dumb excuse.
And that was in a different era. That was when international numbers typically were lower for things like Star Wars and Jaws and E.T. You name the big hits that were coming out late 70s, early 80s. It was always domestic was bigger than international, but not for Superman, even in 1978. And I think that's going to be the real kicker, which brings the question. If you knew this, right? We always knew it was going to be very American-centric. Why didn't you lean into that for the marketing? Right. Why did you avoid the American way? Well, you wanted to appeal to a global audience, but that global audience apparently hasn't bitten when it comes to the movie.
Man, this thing is not going to hit 500 million, is it?
I think it. I think 600 million is the. I think it will hit. Look, I think domestically it has a chance to do 300 to 350. I really do. I think domestically it can be pretty big. The problem is internationally, I don't know if it can make to 250. We'll have to see what the holds are like this weekend. We'll have to see what kind of competition Jurassic World still puts up. And then Fantastic Four is coming out. But it will get above 500. 600 million, I think now is like that target that could potentially be in question.
I saw Jurassic Park cranked over 500 million already.
Mm-hmm.
So that looks like it's definitely probably going to beat Superman in the box office.
Yeah, no question.
Overall, and then we'll see if it beats Fantastic Four. But I think what's going to happen is someone's going to blame Donald Trump why the international box office is so bad. They're going to be like, well, the tensions between America and the rest of the world are on high. So, That's what happened. Someone out there will do it. Mark my words.
Oh, they've already look at this. Let's see if I can find. Fuck. Why? I think I got the. I think I have the quote in this article. Hold on.
Okay.
As the trade explains, along with the general superhero fatigue internationally, Superman's never been the global box office draw that Batman is.
Oh, wow.
While there have been some arguments that the decline of the U.S.'s image under Donald Trump is impacting a hero that for decades was associated with truth, justice, and the American way, even with Gunn downplaying that last part in his film, box office history suggests it's not that simple. So there are already arguments created about that.
I knew it. I still feel like the arguing online is actually quite funny. People are just getting massively triggered if you didn't like this film or if you didn't hate this film. It's just like they're just constantly making posts over and over, about like just so furious with people that hated the film or didn't like it up to their standards, or loved the film that didn't hate it up to their standards. It just was like, oh man, there you go. Look at that. Yeah. I don't think we mentioned one time today, like if we loved or hated the film.
No, and we've also had different people on. Jeremy fucking hates it. Like there's no doubt.
Yeah,
and
I didn't hate it.
I think that Jeremy, look, anytime somebody has a different opinion than you might think that they overly like it or they overly dislike it. Like he really fucking dislikes the movie, much more so than me.
0 out of 10. So.
I had Chris on here on Tuesday, and I think Chris likes a little bit more than I do, even though he has like significant problems with it and stuff like that. But I've specifically gone out of my way to get people on that do have different takes on it that are different from mine. I will say this. I can totally get why a lot of people like the movie.
Sure.
And we've had discussions about this. If you think it's a 9 out of a 10, you're probably either 9 years old or retarded. But that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I can understand why people like the movie. It all depends on what you're looking for with a superhero movie for sure.
Listen, I'm not gonna. It's like I just don't have the energy to. If someone disagrees with my movie opinion, to like stay on social media and constantly attack them and try to prove them wrong to change their opinion. I don't care. You love it? Hey, that's great. Go watch it again. Help its box office numbers. If you hated it, that's great too. Like what you like, hate what you hate. Spending time on social media trying to like prove your point, it doesn't affect it. It doesn't change anything. I have not met a single person who got into an argument about a movie on social media and were like, you know what? You're right. I just was rage baiting and I'm going to quit it right now. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for all those random throwing shade posts out there that I know was directed strictly towards me that you thought you owned me. You owned the chud. Okay, I'm going to change my tune right now. You did it. It just doesn't work. It's exhausting, and find a better use for your time. Anyway, look, if you want, unless you enjoy that kind of thing, then enjoy it.
To be honest, there's some of that. Like, again, we always have arguments over DC comic book heroes. We always fucking do because so many people care about those. However, for the people that have spent literally days and days and days ever since the release of this thing doing that, the truth is sometimes, Jay, they have no better use for their time. That's just what their life is.
Yeah, I got you.
So like that's just the case sometimes. But that's fine.